Yes, yes, queen. Oh my, yes, yes, she has a lot to say. Hi. Well, it's not quite 8 o'clock. There's a few seconds till, but who's counting? This is my first time doing something like this, and I'm really excited about it. So you're in my home, and you're going to hear my cats. One of them is playing with an imaginary toy right now, and sometimes they come and visit me. Her tail is so puffy right now, I wish you could see. Anyways, so thank you so much for tuning in and joining me. I want to turn this live stream into a podcast, and I wanted to do this live because I wanted to have a chance to sort of interact with you and to also have you take action on my website, because Instagram has been very difficult for several months now. And I want to create more of a culture where my audience is seeing me on my website and not just on Instagram. And so that you get used to coming back to my website, thequeenofsexy.com. So it's a really big reason why I'm doing this, because I don't feel like there is a place for me on social media. And I am trying to be really careful on social media. And so to give you an example, last night I went to the pole studio and I danced for a bit. And I danced like how I really wanted to dance. And that's not something that I can put online. So I had to put it on my OnlyFans account. So that type of stuff is, going to be reserved just for my OnlyFans account. And here are some of the things that we're going to be doing on that account, on OnlyFans. I'll be doing more, I want to do live stream dances, actually. I want you to be able to tune in while I'm dancing so that you just know that you're watching me in that moment doing what you're seeing me doing. And also I want to do a breakdown of my past dance routines. So I looked at my demographic for my followers on Instagram, and most of you are women, which I thought maybe was the opposite. And so I am really excited about that, and that means that I want to bring you more content that would be considered paid content. For instance, breaking down an entire routine that I've done. What was I thinking? What was going on in my head? Why did I choose the outfit with the song? Why did I look at this person? Why did I turn that direction? And I feel like by breaking some stuff down like that, you'll really start to get a sense for what it's like when you're in a performance, and give you things to think about when you're getting ready for your next performance. Anyways, I don't want to go on too much about that. I have questions to get to, and also I wanted to let you know I put a chat box on the website for you guys to be able to chat with me. I'm gonna turn the fan off to make our sound better. So feel free to say hello when you're in the chat box. You don't have to, it's not a requirement for tuning in, but I would love to know who's here and who's watching. If you're on your cell phone, you might have to leave the live stream to chat. I'm not sure. If you're on desktop, the chat is right next to the video box. So it's up to you what you want to do, okay? Just be nice in my chat box, please. I don't like any fighting. And then also, if you can't hear me, or if something's going on and you're like, bitch, I can't hear you, let me know, and I will handle that. Do we like the light change? I turned the TV off. Yeah, well, I didn't like it when it was purple. Okay. Let's go to questions, shall we? Okay. I want to do my favorite question last, because it's very fun. So we'll do the hard questions first, okay? So let's start with my friend Agatha, who asked me this question in a DM. And Agatha asked me, as an independent entrepreneur who runs millions of projects at one time, how do you manage your time during the day? How do you juggle between things? Can you guys hear me? Yeah, you can hear me. Okay, just want to make sure. I had a thought and I got distracted. Let me ask again. As an independent entrepreneur who runs millions of projects at one time, how do you manage your time during the day and how do you juggle between things? So recently I realized that my list of things that I'm doing is way too long because I have a problem saying yes. And I see visions for things. I see like the really long term, the grand vision, and it makes so much sense, and I think I can do it, and the fact of the matter is I can do it. It's just like, you know, there's only so much time in the day. So I've decided recently that, okay, I'm doing too many things and I'm starting to scale back, but even after scaling back, I'm still doing a lot of things. And so what I did was, there's a few things that I do to manage all of these things. The number one thing that I do is anytime I make an agreement with someone on the phone, in a text message, in an email, that I'm going to meet with them, I'm going to talk to them about something, I make sure that I put it in my calendar immediately. And I put alerts on all of my calendar things as well, so that I'm reminded. And depending on how far away the date is that I'm setting it, I'll set the alert for further away from the date. For instance, if I set a calendar date for October 29th, I'm going to make sure I get the alert 1 week before, at least, so that I'm prepared for that day. If I set something for tomorrow, I'm going to give myself a 30-minute alert, because I don't want the alert to go off while I'm in the middle of something and I forgot and then I can't make it. Another thing I do is I make a lot of lists. So everything that I do is very compartmentalized. Every business and every project has its own Google account. And if it doesn't, it's on a very separated spreadsheet under my main personal account. And everything's just organized. It's just structured. And I just pay attention. Every day I wake up, I'm like, okay, what am I doing for today? Or I'll prepare for that day the night before. Okay, what am I doing tomorrow? So that I have my day mapped out, so that I know what I'm doing. So that's another way that I really mitigate and control like all of the things that I'm doing. And then some days I don't want to do anything and I just shut everything off. And I think that also is really important in being someone who does a lot of things, because if I don't allow my brain to settle, then I start to like get a little loopy. So I literally, like today that I experienced that, where I was just like, you know what, there's just too much noise happening in my head. I'm just gonna take a break. I'm just gonna take it easy. And that's what I did. And it was really helpful, and it helped me prepare to be in a really free and clear mental headspace with all of you today. So that was really important to me, to get that rest. And we all need that. And me as a very ambitious person, I sometimes feel like that's a sign of weakness, and that by taking a break, you're losing time and you're wasting time. You know, which is why I don't take very many breaks. But I do have to take breaks. And that's key in doing a million things, is allowing the voices in your head to just settle down. Because when you're doing a bunch of stuff, you're like, okay, I have to do this, I have to do this, and I have to, and I'm like a full-on like planner. I plan everything way ahead of time, even stuff that does not need to be planned. Like my friends will catch me sometimes. I'll be like, okay, so we're gonna park and then we're gonna walk there and that's gonna be 5 minutes, and they're like, yo, just chill out. So yeah, I plan a lot. I would say a lot. So I want to make sure I answered the entire question. How do I manage my time between the day? Yeah, during the day, managing time is just constantly looking at the clock and making sure that you're on time for things. And then I ask myself, can I do this thing in this period of time? And if I can't, then I don't do that thing. And then juggling between things, I literally have alarms for certain things where I have to stop everything I'm doing and work on a very particular project. So, and then for my like side projects that aren't so important, and I work on those on the weekend, like I would if I had a 9-to-5 job and I had a side project. So I do have specific things that I work on only during the week, and then other things that I work on only during the weekend. And that is a new structure that I put in place. So excellent question. Thank you. Okay, so from a young lady named Lolly, she asks, the path you have chosen is clearly unusual. Did you ever have any fear or feel any pressure to stay on track? Meaning finding a 9-to-5 job versus stripping. If yes to the pressure, how did you overcome this, and how did your relationship with the people inducing that pressure evolve? This is such an interesting question. Yes, the path I have chosen is very unusual. Not only that path, but like every path within that, I always tend to find or look for, or maybe the universe blesses me with them, the most difficult path. I don't know what it is about that. I don't know why I have to choose the hardest path. So I did have pressures. Did I have fear of pressures? No, I wasn't afraid of being pressured by anybody. Once I set my mind to something, that's pretty much it. And even so, I would say the people that I felt the most pressure from was maybe my family, maybe. But when I told my family what I was doing, there was no question. I did not ask. I did not tell them, I hope this is okay with you. I did not sugarcoat what I was doing. I did not tell them for the first 6 months, and then I decided living in a lie and shadows is not good for anybody. So I told them after the first 6 months, and they had no choice but to accept it. That, because in my mind, if they didn't want to accept me for who I was, then I mean, I kind of was like, okay, like, if you're not going to accept me, like, I'm gonna go. And that never even came to their minds, I don't think. So there was no pressure. There wasn't a lot of pressure from my family, but there was the questioning. And I took their questioning as them being genuinely curious, not as, oh, they want to try to stop me from doing what I'm doing. I think that had a lot to do with perspective and how I read their reactions and their moments in which they questioned me. Pardon me. Yeah, I didn't feel pressure from them. I'm looking at the question. Oh, to stay on track. Yes. Okay. So, they did ask me, and I got asked this a lot by people. It's like, why didn't you go to school? Like, why not school? And I think that there was a couple of my family members, 'cause I have a very big family. Both of my grandparents had 7 children. So there's 14 aunts and uncles. That's on total, and that's not including the ones that married in. So it's a big family, a lot of people. And one of my uncles in particular was very curious as to why I wasn't going back to school, and why I never went to school or finished school, because I didn't finish college. And I said, listen, like, okay, student debt, loans, no. Okay, I make all the money that people are in debt with, I made that in like a year. So, no. Also, I had the opportunity to talk to so many different people so often that I was learning about so many different worlds and different cultures and different lines of business, and I was learning the skills of talking to people and of finding out what motivates them and what makes them tick, and I really became an expert in conversing with people and listening to people talk, and going over subjects and solving problems with people, because a lot of times when these men especially would come into the clubs, usually they're there because they're having a really hard time in life, and or they have issues with intimacy, or they can't get a girlfriend. So there's a lot of one stripper, her name is Nova Kane. I just recently became acquainted with her, and she told me that it's like doing humanitarian work. And I had never thought of it that way before, but when she said that, I was like, oh my gosh, it totally is. Like, I have spent so much time counseling men on their issues. And so I feel like I learned so much in that process. So I tell my uncle, okay, listen, I don't have student debt. I'm learning a ton. And I'm very safe, and I don't feel pressured by college boys, bunch of little fuck boys, trying to get me drunk and take my clothes off for free. That's what they're doing at college. They're going to parties. Not everybody, but they're going to parties, and they're getting drunk, and they flash their tits, and they do whatever for free. And I'm getting paid for it. Also, I'm not being pressured into having sex. That's a lie. I got pressured plenty. But the difference is I had a security guard circling the perimeter and watching me. I had someone protecting me. And not to say that, listen, I'm not saying that strip clubs are safer than colleges. I'm just saying my experience was I was protected. And so I'm telling him all of this, that I'm safer, I was safe in there, I was making money, I'm learning a lot of things, I love what I do, I'm having a great time, I have a free life, I get to travel, I get to do whatever I want and make my own schedule. And he was like, oh. And like, his brain started ticking in. He was like, it was like he saw me and stripping from a totally different perspective. And I, through leading by example and living in my family and like talking to them about the experiences of being a stripper and being a dancer, my whole family has totally different perspective on what that is and what that's like, because they love a stripper. And so their perception of strippers and dancing has completely changed than what it was before I was dancing. And so that's how my relationship started occurring in my life after choosing the path that I chose. And I'm really, really grateful to be able to say that, my family and the people, other adults around me have a brand new perspective. And now they are missionaries with the same message, and they can go off and if they're friends or whoever it comes up in conversation, they have an example to talk about, and they have me. And those are the types of people that we need out there in societies and in communities, saying like, oh, it's not what you think, like you've got it all wrong, here's my experience, and so that I've been really grateful for that my family has been so receptive and so accepting of my choices, and they don't judge me for it. Or if they do, they don't tell me, and they don't say they judge me, but it's fine. I don't care. They can judge. It's fine. So yeah, that is how I dealt with that. So here, let's do the next question from Shayla. She wants to hear about my return to dancing, what that was like, and if I've gained any insight from this process. So my return to dancing is, it's not like I'm back in full force. I have decided that I will be doing online dancing for my audience, because being in my heels for too long, especially right now, is painful, because the way the foot, so basically, like, pretend the hands, this is the toes, right, and this is the top of your foot, right? So I have none of this. So basically all these toe bones right here are on an angle, right, pressing down into the shoe, into like either right now I have memory foam, which is too hard. So today I got from the doctor, lamb's wool that I'm gonna try instead, because it's a softer cushion. But you can imagine having these bones like that, just like holding all of your weight of your body. So imagine doing a handstand on your knuckles, right? So on your palm on one hand, but a handstand on your knuckles on the other hand. That's what it's like when I'm in heels. And so, you know, being able to walk through clubs or bars for long periods of time just isn't going to work out, at least not for now. And what I'm doing in the meantime to, you know, in this transition is I'm working on my various projects and businesses and really focusing on them so that those can pay me. And by the time my foot's ready to be in shoes really long time, my life is going to be completely different because I'm doing all these different things. So the insights that I've gained is I'm like, okay, so I was just talking to a friend and she said, remember before your accident when we got together and you were bummed out and you were like, oh, I'm looking for something new and I'm looking to transition. I was like, I totally remember because I remember the sunset that day. It was very specific sun in the sky that day and I remembered it very well. And I thought to myself, yeah, that's because I wanted to quit dancing before the accident. I was on the path to transforming my life right before the accident. And the insight that I've gained from that accident very quickly, actually, I think it was like a week after the accident, I was like, oh yeah, like this was all meant to happen. I was meant to stop dancing. I was meant to focus my efforts on these other projects. And that's the insight that I've gained. And my return to dancing is that I'll be dancing for you guys online. So I kind of see myself as being like an online stripper, actually. And I want to do the things that I would do in a club, but I will do it in a studio or in my room, minus the lap dancing because I don't have people here. I have an octopus. Anyway, so yeah, I want to start doing more online dancing stuff for you guys. So I just released a really short video on YouTube. And if you want to see an even skankier version, you can go to my OnlyFans account and there's a banner below this video box. And what I'm going to be doing on OnlyFans is dancing for you more on there and breaking down routines. And on OnlyFans, I'm going to do the real way that a stripper dances. I'm not going to do that on YouTube for free. I'm just going to give you teasers on YouTube. But on my OnlyFans, I'm going to be how I really want to be. And I was dancing last night. So talk about return to dancing. When I danced last night, it was the first time in like, I don't even know. I can't tell you how long it's been where I was just like feeling myself so hard. And like when I used to dance at Jumbo's, like it was more entertainment based. So I wasn't doing like nasty, slutty stripper stuff like as much as I would have liked to. Last night when I was by myself and like I could do whatever I want, I really went there, you know, and I can't even tell you how long it was been. So that was like, that felt so good. And the insight I gained from that is like, oh, I want to do this more. I want to give this to you. I want you to see what this is really like. And what that type of like actual sensual erotic movement looks like. So yeah, I'm really excited to start doing those things. But I will say that, you know, my foot is still healing. It won't be like until like at least another year before it's fully healed, and I'm still experiencing pain and discomfort almost daily, and I have setbacks. I go forward and then I set back, and I go forward and I set back. My bones are shifting. The muscles are really tight and all jumbled together, so I have to start massaging my foot to loosen all of that up. But you know, I don't believe that I will ever have a full-on dancing career like I once did. I believe that time is over, and that's okay, because there's a lot of other new exciting things that I have going on, so that's okay. And the insight that I've learned from that is we all have phases to life, where sometimes you do this thing and sometimes you do that thing. Like sometimes I just don't eat avocados. for like a year because I think they're gross. And then sometimes I buy them every week. It just depends on what phase I am that year, whatever. I don't know. So since we're talking about the foot, another question was, am I using shoe inserts? In some of my shoes, I was stuffing them with socks and underwear. And some of my shoes is memory foam. In my sneakers is a silicone insert. I have been using whatever I can. Insurance and approval for things takes a while. Also, I had an emergency bone extraction surgery in April that I didn't tell many people about, and so my foot had to go through a full-on healing process again, and so I couldn't be getting fitted for prosthetics or silicone inserts while I was healing with more stitches and from an incision again. So right now I just stuff my shoes with whatever the hell I can find. And I just got a prescription today to take it to a prostheticist, and and I'm gonna get some like legit stuff really soon, and maybe that'll help make me feel different in my heels. So, and then who knows, maybe I will start performing more. Who knows? No, I don't know. No. Don't listen to that. Don't listen to that. So one of my favorite questions, which is like pretty unique question, is from E. Wolf, and he asks, what's your favorite thing about Brooklyn, New York? Well, that is really easy for me to answer. My favorite thing about Brooklyn, New York is this wonderful bar called Lucky 13 Saloon. It's on the corner of Union and 4th, and it is a death metal, heavy metal bar. And there are pictures of the devil everywhere. And there's heavy metal posters everywhere. And there are weird looking headless mannequins with spouts coming out of the vagina area. And spouts coming out of the nipples where they pour shots into the top of the head of the skeleton of the mannequin, and then you put your mouth on one of the spouts and you take your shot through the nipple or through the penis of the mannequin, and it is epic. There is a 10-foot pole on the corner of the bar, and the way we would dance is we would walk up and down the bar in our 8-inch heels, well, me in my 8-inch heels, and you would collect tips in your G-strings and stuff. So we would wear garters and straps on our legs and in our thongs, and you would literally walk across the bar in your 8-inch heels with drinks, and pizza, because they had a little pizza thing there. And so we had to walk across the bar and he'd be like, oh, excuse your pizza, I don't want to step. I don't want to step on your pizza. Oh my God. Or sit in it. It's so funny. Such a weird, awesome place. And it's run by this spunky, one of the most energetic people I've ever met. Her name is Melody, and she's got tattoos everywhere and really long, gorgeous black and green hair that goes down to her waist, and she has a septum ring, and she does yoga, and she goes running in the park, and she can also throw down like 20 shots in a night and still be the last one standing, and she's the shortest one there and smallest, most petite person. She's just incredible, and she runs the place. And they had like heavy metal shows in the back room, and it's just a very, very one-of-a-kind place. I highly recommend it. It's a very eclectic crowd, and I think one of my favorite things about working there was I could basically like fuck somebody up if I wanted to, and like nobody, like nothing, I wouldn't pay any damages basically. So like to give you an example, one time I was up on the bar and this guy like really inappropriately touched me, and I grabbed his face right like this, and I was on the bar on my knees, and he's sitting in like a tall stool at the bar, and I grabbed his face, and I was like, God, I was so mad, and I was squeezing, and I was pushing his head. I was pushing, and I pushed really far, and I didn't know, and I was pushing really slow and angrily, you know, and he tipped, and he tipped, and he tipped, and all of a sudden, the whole chair just went flying back, and his feet went flying up in the air, and like, it was pretty packed that night, and everyone's like going like this, like trying to see what happened, and I really quickly stood up, and I was like, nothing to see, nah, don't worry about it, everything's fine, and I just got up and continued walking across the bar, and like some people helped him up, and then they were like, oh, you know, Melody said, oh, what happened? And the security guy was like, oh, AM pushed this guy down, and she's like, well, he must have done something wrong, so kick him out. And so they kicked him out, and they were, because I don't normally like hurt people, I don't normally get that mad, so I won't, you know, it was valid, it was justified, and then they knew that about me. I'm not going around just like punching people in the face for no reason. Like, you know, he was extremely inappropriate, and you know, I had to tell him what's up. And so yeah, that's one of my favorite, that is my favorite place in Brooklyn. It is one of the only reasons why I miss New York. There's only 2 things in New York that I miss uncontrollably. Only 2 things. And Lucky 13 is one of those things that I think about a lot. And the other is my best friend Tammy. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know if any of you have actually tuned in live to watch this, because it's not like Instagram or Facebook where you can see your numbers going up. So live streaming on websites is something that I taught myself a long time ago, and I've been doing for a while now, and I just love that I have this skill, because I get to curate my own content, and nobody can shadow ban me or kick me off of my own website. So I want you to get used to coming to my website. And if you haven't already, please sign up for my newsletter. There is a link at the bottom of this page, and there on every page on my website is a newsletter link. And you also feel free to donate to me whenever you want for anything. And you know, why should you donate to me? That's an excellent question. If you're a dancer, it's because I spend a lot of hours working on the unifying of strippers and on Soldiers of Pole, extra hours. I work a lot of hours for the pole community that I don't get paid for. And if you're a gentleman who likes to watch me dance, if you go to my OnlyFans, you can see videos there. I'm gonna be releasing more dance videos on YouTube. So, you know, that is my art, and that is how I'm used to making money, is by dancing. So that's another reason to donate to me. And I'm a really freaking awesome person, and it would be tremendous to me to get paid to do something new that I love, which is talking to all of you and giving you insight on my experiences and providing a fountain of knowledge for you. This is something that I want to run with. I want to grow in this particular arena. I want to do more public speaking. I'm adding that element to my workshops, and I have visions of being on a large stage in front of many people for activism purposes and for what I'm doing now, which is inspirational, motivational type speaking. People tell me all the time that I'm inspiring, and so I feel like, okay, let's do something with that. So that's what I'm gonna do. And if you donate for nothing else, donate for all of the inspirational, motivational shit that I just lay down on you regularly. Another way that you can support is by subscribing to OnlyFans. My OnlyFans account right now, I'm running a special. So it is half off for the first month. It's only $5 for the first month. And there I post pictures that Instagram won't let me put up. I will be posting links to private links that you can only get there to live stream dances on my website. And you can't find those links unless you get it through OnlyFans. So you can't go to my website and search it. Like I've already figured out how to keep that from happening. So and other ways you can support me is coming to my workshops. You can DM me to find out when and where there's a workshop coming near you. I'll be posting my schedule really soon. And that's, and then also, I'm offering coaching services through UPA's coaching program. So if you want one-on-one coaching, either one session or a package session, let me know, and we can do calls together, and we can talk about things that you are looking for in your life, new changes, transitions, any types of suggestions, advice, connections to people, and just overall support in the new endeavors that you're on. And if you're feeling stuck, or if you're feeling confused, or if you're just kind of ready to take a chance on something, and you want someone else that has done those same things to support you verbally, hello, I am here. So also you can contact me about UPA's coaching program, and I'll send you some links and information on how that works. And then we can do a coaching session, because that's what I want to do. I want to be your coach. I want to be here for you. So, but that's pretty much it. We're going to wrap it up for the night. Because I went through my questions. I've been talking for about 40 minutes. I think that's plenty of time. I don't see any other questions coming in the comment box, but I'm not deterred. I know that these are gonna grow. So, and if you're not commenting now, feel free to send me private comments on Instagram, text message, Facebook, however you know best to connect with me. Thank you so much for tuning in and for having tea with your queen.